Machiavelli Mills TV, man. And yes, this actually happened. This actually happened on social media, y'all. And I'm like, it shocked the hell out of me. And I'm like, puzzled by it, for real, for real. So, rapper Montana of 300, he posted his birth certificate, his actual birth certificate. He cut off, of course, the social security number and all that type of stuff. But he posted his actual birth certificate with the caption, where he from? Where he from? Where he from? Suck my you know what, right? And this was a picture in response to people questioning if he was actually from Chicago, Illinois since 2012. Since he first jumped on the scene, the rap scene, in a major way from his Chirac remix in 2012, a lot of people have been they've been really wondering or questioning, is he really from Chicago, Illinois? Is he really from the city or is he not? And so he's been saying he's from Chicago. He's been adamant about saying he's from Chicago for a very long time, but people still don't believe it. So when I saw this, the first thing I could think was, damn, they done bullied this man into showing his birth certificate to prove he's from Chicago, Illinois, which in fact does not prove he's actually from Chicago, Illinois in the first place. It just proves that he was born in the city of Chicago, not actually was cultivated here in the city, right? And me, I'm speaking as an actual resident of Chicago, Illinois. I've been in Chicago all my life. Born and raised here. Only time I left Chicago was to go to college and to go to grad school. That's it. I've been in Chicago, Illinois. This is where my roots are. My bones was made here. I've never been a street kid. I've been a school kid all my life. But I'm saying, my culture is Chicago, Illinois. I was made and I was grown and developed into a man here, right? So people have been questioning this. Well, first I'm going to say this. I wonder, why did he feel the need to do this? Why he feel the need to post his birth certificate? But the reason he felt the need to post his birth certificate for the world to see is because it gets to him when people don't think he's from Chicago. It really gets to him for real in a major way, right? And it gets to him because other rappers from the city don't believe he's from Chicago, and then a lot of Chicago residents don't believe he's from Chicago at all. And see, me personally, I don't think he's from Chicago either. I really believe that Montana of 300 is really from Peoria, Illinois all day long, right? But he won't admit it because he came on the scene, he came on the rap scene repping Chicago. And it'll make him look bad if he admits that he wasn't truthful about being from Chicago. So now he's just going to keep running with the fact, I'm from Chicago, I'm born in Chicago, I'm born in Chicago. See, this is the thing, and I don't know if everybody else understands this, but to most people, especially most people for real across the country, and to Chicagoans especially, it doesn't matter if you were born here. It matters about were you raised here? Were you cultivated here? Did you go to school here? Did you go to high school here? Did you go to elementary school here? Did you spend your youth to adolescent years into did you spend majority of your youth and adolescent years into adulthood almost in Chicago? Or did you spend it somewhere else? Because a birth certificate does not prove you're from Chicago. Bro, I could be born in New York City, and I left when I was 2 or 3 years old. I am not from New York City. If I moved from New York to Chicago when I was 3, and I spent majority of my life, 80 to 90% of my life in Chicago, I'm from Chicago. I'm not from where I was born. And that's the case with Mr. Montana 300, right? A lot of people, even people that went to school with and grew up with him, have been saying he spent majority of his time in Peoria. He went to Manual or something like that in Peoria. He went to high school out there. And from what I understand, he went to elementary school for the most part. Most of his elementary school years were spent out there. So to me, that means you're not from Chicago. That means you're from Peoria. And there's nothing wrong with being from Peoria at all. It doesn't take away from his street cred. It doesn't make him less real or not, because it's tough dudes everywhere. It's street dudes everywhere. Not just in Chicago. It's dudes in Chicago that's not street dudes like me. I went to school. I was in my books. I was doing the school thing. I was never a street dude. So it won't take away his credibility as a rapper or as a street dude or a street image, even though, I heard as of lately he been on some conscious stuff, but he got the street image and the street persona is what he came into the rap game with. It won't take away from that if he say he from Peoria at all, but I really think he wanted to rep Chicago when he came on the scene because he figured it would be a better look for his career to say he's from Chicago, Illinois, and not from Peoria, which is a smaller town. It's not a city. It's not a booming city like Chicago. So I think he thought it would be a good look for him to say he was from the Chi and not from Peoria. But I really believe he spent most of his time in Peoria, Illinois. And to me, and for real, to me, I really think that because all of his homies that signed to his label, majority of his homies signed to his label, and the ones he be kicking it with in the videos and rapping with are from Peoria, Illinois. So I'm like, bruh, look, Kanye West was born in Atlanta, Georgia, and moved to Chicago at 3 years old. But he moved here at 3 and was living here from that point on, for real. So he is from Chicago, Illinois. Ludacris was born in Illinois. I think Chicago. Was born in Chicago, Illinois. Or somewhere in Illinois. I believe in Chicago, though. He was born in Chicago. And moved to Atlanta when he was like 2. He not from Chicago. I don't, like, he was born here. I don't care that he was born in a hospital. He could be born in the same hospital I'm from. He is from Atlanta, Georgia, because he went out there and stayed there. You know what I mean? I think, and this is the thing, too. I think a lot of his fans, they really be mad and pissed. They think the Chicago residents are hating on him, or we're mad because he's more lyrical than our favorite rappers out of Chicago, and they think we jealous because, oh, he's better than the rappers we like out of Chicago. Cool, if that's your opinion, cool. But it ain't even about none of that. We don't give a damn if he can rap better than the dudes here at all. Chicagoans have pride. We take pride in where we're from. Chicago culture is unlike anywhere else. The culture, like we take pride in that. That culture is within us. So we don't, like, we feel some type of way when people try to say that they're like from here, like a rep the culture, try to like say that they from here and they not, because this is a whole different type of life. We were living here all the time. You know what I mean? They weren't cultivated here. Their culture is not embedded here for real. Because the culture in Peoria and Chicago is two separate things. It's not the same thing at all. So for us, we like, you know, we've been here all our lives. We was really everywhere in Chicago. We was experiencing all of Chicago's traditions. We are here. Chicago run through our blood. So for us to, like, not literally, of course, but metaphorically, but for real, we from here. So we like, nah, bro, like, we don't like when people just try to say they from here and they from a town 2 hours away or an hour away or something like that, because we like, no, like, that's not where you were. You're not a part of Chicago. Your roots is not really, I mean, you probably got your roots is here. I'm sure he has family from here and everything. But he wasn't cultivated in the city like we were. He wasn't walking in his high school years and elementary school years. He wasn't on a CTA bus going to the places we were going to and traveling to school and going to the Bud Billiken Parade and going to downtown on Michigan Avenue. He wasn't, going to the 87 rink, to the Paul Hall on Halsted Street. He wasn't like going like, it really wasn't, it's not a part of his culture for real. So we feel some type of way when somebody tries to encroach on the culture like that, or like, and say that they're from here and they're not. And I think that everybody else in bigger cities might feel the same exact way. A person from Montana 300, his fan base is mainly from suburban America. They're from suburbia. So to them, they feel like it's no big deal if he says he's from Chicago, and who gives a damn? They feel like, who gives a damn? Because they're not from Chicago. A Chicago person, let's take that. We take that. We feel some type of way because we like, man, we really from here. Our culture is really here. We feel some type of way about it. And a person from a big city will kind of feel that way too. But a lot of people, his fans, they're from suburban America. So to them, a lot of them do the same thing he does. They claim the next biggest city over from them instead of where they're actually from, which I think is unfair to the place that they're actually from. Because truth be told, I know the people he went to high school with and elementary school with feel some type of way. Look, you got a big following. You got all these fans. You got momentum behind your name. You've been on a little show. You've been on what's the Empire show and all that type of stuff. And you yelling and screaming, you from Chicago, and we was sitting here with you every single day in school, in our neighborhoods. We were going to school with you. We was like on the school bus with you and all of that, in class with you the whole time. And you're saying you're from somewhere else instead of repping they hometown, right? Ain't nothing wrong with repping Peoria. I'm sure Peoria would love for him to rep their town, and they would take pride in that. Like, why he can't just say he from Peoria? Like, and people going to say, well, because he from Chicago. And this is the thing. I believe he's from Chicago. I'm from Chicago, excuse me. Not from Chicago. I believe he was born in Chicago and then moved when he was a young boy, probably like 6 or 7. He probably left. I think he might have left the city then and then went to Peoria and spent the majority of his time in Peoria. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at that point, you're from Peoria. You're not from Chicago. That's it. Like you were cultivated. You made your mark, and you became who you were. You became who you was in Chicago. I mean, in Peoria. You became a man in Peoria. You grew up and had most of your life experiences in Peoria, not Chicago. So when people ask him why, and it's funny, because when people ask him, why you say you're from Chicago, he say he's back and forth. He like, I made a lot of money in Chicago. I did a lot of hustling in Chicago. I did majority of my hustling in Chicago. Fam, if I was a street dude and I hustled in Mississippi, or I hustled in Joliet, or I hustled in Evanston, I am not from Evanston. I'm not from Joliet. I'm not from Mississippi. I'm from where I'm from. I'm from where I had most of my life experiences, which is Chicago, Illinois. And he's not from Chicago, Illinois. It is what he spent most of his time in Peoria. And I'm sure Peoria would love for him to rep their town. Richard Pryor is from Peoria. It's nothing wrong with that, man. They want to help rep their town and help put their city on the map. I know they feel some type of way, like, man, his real name is Walter. They're like, man, we went to school with Walt. Walt our homeboy. Walt was in class with us. We was kicking it with Walt at the mall. We was with Walt at the movies. We was you know what I'm saying? We was playing basketball with Walt at the courts all the time in Peoria. But he don't want to rep here. He say he from there. You know what I'm saying? And all his homeboys, they be like, I'm from Peoria. I'm from Peoria. And I really feel like it's the same situation for him. He just left Chicago. He was born in Chicago, and he left when he was about 6 or 7. But if you at that point you leave that young, most of your life experiences occurred in Peoria. So you're from Peoria, not Chicago. End of discussion. That's it. You know what I mean? But again, I think that he doesn't want to admit that because he came on the scene repping Chicago. And if he says, hey y'all, I'm really not, I spent majority of my time in Peoria. I was born in Chicago, but I moved at a young age or whatever. If he says that, people are going to look at him like he was lying. And he's like, I don't want to look like a fraud. I don't want to look like I was a liar. I don't want to look like I wasn't telling the truth. So this is the hill that he has chosen to die on, metaphorically, of course. I'm not wishing death on a brother at all. I'm saying, like, this is what he wants to stick with. He wants to stick to this story. Because again, a birth certificate does not prove you are from Chicago, Illinois. It just proves you're born here. That's it. It just proves you are born here. I could have been born in Mississippi, Atlanta, New York, and I got a birth certificate from there. But fam, I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I'm from here, Southside to be specific. That is in my heart and soul. That's all I am from. Chicago, Illinois. That's it. All I know, this is Chicago. I'm Chicago culture, from the way that I talk, to the way that I dress, to everything. I'm from here, this city. Montana 300, I believe, is really, really from Peoria. But he trying to ride this Chicago thing he trying to ride it all the way through. You know what I mean? And people be like, well, the Chicago people be hating on him, the DJs be hating on him or whatever, and so on and so forth, and they don't be rocking with him, and they don't be people like, no. We just know he not from here for real. You know what I mean? And that's what we're telling people he's not. And people that's not even from Chicago want to tell us that he is. Oh, he grew up in 26, 22, South Calumet or whatever. Like, but it probably been gone a long time, brother. You know what I'm saying? And he left, I think, I promise y'all, I really believe he left when he was like 6 or 7. I think I remember him saying he left when he was a little boy. That don't count, brother. Yeah, you were born here, you lived here for some time, but you from Peoria. And there's nothing wrong with being from Peoria. We're not mad. We're not trying to be disrespectful to the brother. We're not trying to call him out his name. But the brother from Peoria, and he needs to just say that. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with being from Peoria. The greatest comedian of all time. Many people consider Richard Pryor to be the greatest comedian of all time. He's from Peoria. Help put them on the map, man. Like, come on, man. I promise y'all. If a dude was in school with me every single day, we grew up with each other from youth, from elementary school all the way through high school, beyond that. We kicking it and we see him all the time in the neighborhood, so on and so forth. And he claiming he from New York, cause he was there cause he was there until he was 5 or until he was 4. I'm gonna be like, bro, what? Yo, bro, I'm gonna feel like, man, like you from here, you from the city. Like, why you not repping where we from? Why you wanna rep someplace else that you really only spent a small portion of your life and most of your life experiences came from here? We would look at it funny style. You know what I mean? Like any other person would. You know what I mean? Except a person, a lot of people from suburban areas, they cool with it because they do the same thing. A lot of them, not all of them, because I know some people from suburban areas that rep they town. They rep where they from and they proud of where they from. But dude, he wanna just say he from here. When we know that really ain't the case. And he like, oh, the Chicago DJs don't be playing my music, woo woo. I don't know. He think it's because they mess with Chief Keef and Lil Reese and them, and he got issues with them, and they don't want to play his music or so on and so forth or whatever. No, I really maybe they playing Chicago artists and they don't think he from Chicago. Maybe it is someone that feel like, oh, whatever, we got to stay loyal to them. But oh man, I don't think that for real. I really doubt that. I really think that they resonate with the Chicago artists that are from the city, and they, you know, the ones that really from the area from around the way, you know, because they want to put on for the city. And there's nothing wrong with putting on for Peoria either. Like, all right, cool, we all from Illinois. It is what it is. But when it comes to Chicago residents take that serious. Bro, we was in college, and dudes would be in college talking about they from Chicago, and they was from Oswego, they was from Waukegan, they was from they was from Joliet, they was from places far out from where we was at. You know what I mean? They from Gurnee and all that type of stuff, saying that they from Chicago. Brother, you're not from Chicago. You didn't have to walk the same streets we had to walk. You didn't have to grow up experiencing the same things we experienced. You do not have ties to all the different cultural aspects of being here. We were grown here. We were cultivated here. This is where we were made. This is where we had all of our majority of our life experiences were here in the city. And it's not the same for you. So for you to be coming and repping someplace and yelling and screaming, you from there, and you ain't never really even walked them blocks like that. You don't know what it's like to take the CTA bus to school. You don't know what it's like to be walking the streets of this city and going to all these different festivals and activities that take place throughout the city. You don't know what that's like. Don't say you from here. Say you from where you from. You know what I mean? Because dudes would do that all the time. Lying to the locals and telling people they from Chicago when we were in college. And they were not from Chicago, Illinois at all. At all. 2 hours away, brother. That is a straight 2 hours, bro. You ain't from the, come on. We ain't going to let you ride with that. You 2 hours away from the city. You too far, brother. You too far. It don't matter how many times you came up here back and forth. How many times you went to go visit your family up here. You not from here. You not. I got family in Mississippi. I don't care if I went to Mississippi every 3 months to go visit my auntie. I am not from Mississippi. I am from Chicago, Illinois. South Side, for real. So that's it is what it is, man. But like, I think he feels some type of way because I think he posted this birth certificate because he feel like it's been getting to him for real, and especially when the other rappers say that they don't think he's from here. I think it gets to him for real, and he wanted to post this to prove this, but brother, it doesn't prove you from here. It just proves you were born here, which I believe he is born here, but he's not from here. His life experiences majority of his life experiences weren't happening here, right? Another thing I hear people saying too is that, again, we hating on him because he a better rapper than a lot of the people here and all of that. Like, okay, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. Yes, he can rap, but I'm not into rappers that just punchline after punchline after punchline after punchline. So, personally, I don't listen to his music. I'm not a fan of his music. I'm not. You know what I mean? But other people, they like him, and that's fine. I'm not a fan of his music, but it don't got nothing to do with the rappers that we like, bro. I don't care nothing about that. I know Lil Durk is from Chicago. I know Chief Keef is from Chicago. I know Lil Reese is from Chicago. Right? I know FBG Duck, God bless the dead. I know he was from Chicago, Illinois. Right? I know King Von from Chicago, Illinois. I know Tay 600 from Chicago, Illinois. So that's what it is. It ain't we hating on dude. We just know that they're from Chicago, Illinois, and we don't think he is at all. We know he from Peoria. But he don't want to admit that because it's gonna make him look bad if he looks like, or he admits to embellishing where he's from or falsifying where he's from, because he really just was here for a small period of his life and moved to Peoria. You know what I mean? But like, man, rep Peoria, man. I'm sure they want that look, man. I'm sure they would love to have that look to say Montana 300 is from where we from. But dude want to rep 2 hours away in Chicago, man. Like, bruh, come on, man. But him posting his birth certificate, it really shows me that it really gets to him, and it really gets to him to when Chicago rappers question where he's from, and Chicago DJs may question where he's from as well, possibly. You know what I mean? But see, again, he don't care. I think he don't care. People like, oh, the bots got to him. I don't think them bot accounts got to him. I think the other rappers from Chicago and Chicago residents, true Chicago residents, noticing and saying that he's not from Chicago. Because let me tell you about a Chicago person, y'all. I've been here all my life. A person may not think you're from Chicago, but when we have conversations with you, you tell us like, okay, where you from? Where you start talking to us about certain stuff in the city. We can tell if you're from Chicago or not. We can tell. We can tell from when we talking to you, having a conversation. We may be questioning it when we look at you, because everybody in Chicago don't look like hood dudes, and everybody don't look like Chief Keef. Everybody don't look like Lil Durk or Lil Reese. We all look different. But when we talk to you, and you talk and you share those experiences of the city, and we hear you saying certain things, and we hear about, you know, what school you went to or so on and so forth, you're like, oh, dude from the crib. He really from the crib for real. Now look, if Montana 300 was spent all of his life up until 8th grade year in Chicago, I'd be like, okay, cool, he from Chicago. But I don't think that's even the case. Because Lena Waithe spent all her years all up until her 8th grade year of high school in Chicago, and then I think she moved to Evanston for high school. But we'll say she from Chicago because she spent a nice chunk of her time. She only spent 4 years in Evanston. She spent a nice majority chunk of her time in Chicago, Illinois. That's where she was at. She from Chicago. Montana, I believe, spent most of his elementary school years and high school years out there. So more than just 4 years in Peoria. I think he left the city when he probably like 6 or 7 and went to Peoria, and that's where he been. He probably was coming up here to visit aunties and uncles, but brother, you were having most of your life experiences in Chicago. I'm probably sure he probably had his first fight, kissed a girl first time, went on his first date, all in Peoria, Illinois, not Chicago. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. We're not trying to disrespect him when he said it. We just say we think that's the truth. We saying what's the truth for real, and I don't think he just don't want to admit it. You know what I mean? But yeah, like, nah, man, we feel some type of way about it as Chicago natives, because this is where we from. This is our culture, man. This is our love. Chicago to Chicago residents. We love Chicago. This is our first love, no matter what the news say about it and so on. Because I know his little fans gonna come on here and be like, oh, who wants to be from that hellhole anyway? When I know they gonna come and talking all that crazy rhetoric or whatever. Of course, y'all don't care, because a lot of y'all are from suburban areas and y'all rep the next biggest town over. Or maybe y'all just feel like it's cool because y'all love his music. But to us, it's a different thing. You know what I mean? We that's our heart and soul in Chicago. So we like, bruh, nah, we ain't letting you do that. Kanye, yeah, I don't even like what Kanye be on, for real now. But Kanye from Chicago. Ludacris was born here, but he moved away at a young age. As a little boy, a young boy, a baby probably. But he not from Chicago, nor would he ever try to say he from Chicago, even though his family up here. He from Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? End of discussion. So, yeah, man, but we know when somebody from Chicago, when you talking to him, you hear him talking, having them, sharing them experiences and all that type of stuff. Only thing I heard Montana talk about is being in the projects down there when he's a little bitty boy. Everything else, I feel like he talk about, oh, he was getting a lot of money up here. Well, brother, where were you at? Where were your experiences at in the city? And all this and all of that. Them 26, 22K, man, I think that's what his fans always, they love to yell that out and put that all in the comment section. He from 26, 22K, man, and they be from North Dakota, trying to tell us he from Chicago. Trying to tell Chicagoans he from Chicago. You living in Vermont, y'all from North Dakota, South Dakota, Maine, New Hampshire. Y'all from Iowa. You're from somewhere else, from far away from the city, and you trying to tell us where he from, or like, oh, he from the project, he from them projects. Now, bro, you ain't never seen them projects. You never stepped foot in here. How you gonna tell Chicago residents like we can tell how he talks and how he talks around the subject about when they ask him where he from and oh, you know why you say Chicago and I spent a lot of money. I hustled a lot up here, well, brother. I can hustle somewhere for a very, very long time. I can go and make a lot of hustles. If I was a street dude, I'm a school dude. You know what I mean? Well, I'm not in school no more, but I was spending my life as a school kid. The streets was not for me, and I would never try to do that at all. But I know I spend majority. I don't care if I was a hustler. I don't care how many times I hustled in Mississippi or whatever. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. In the discussion, and I think he just needs to own up to the fact that he's from Peoria, Illinois, and not Chicago. I know a lot of his fans are going to get mad at me. They're going to be pissed. They're going to be trying to come on here, whatever. Dude is from Peoria, and he just don't want to admit it because he came out saying he's from Chicago, and it's going to make him look bad. Because all his homies is from Peoria. All the dudes on his label is from Peoria, man. Crazy, man. Machiavelli Mills TV, I'm done talking. Peace.